Ladies and gentlemen, 5 days ago, at the point that I'm recording this video, we had talked about Kenji, the second newest brawler coming out in this update, and arguably the most popular one. I mean, come on, it's pretty dang safe to say. Mo, I'm sorry you're cute, but Kenji's kind of taking the limelight on this update, dude. Now, if you haven't watched that video, just a little recap, Kenji's coming out on the 26th of September for the early access offer, and then of course, 1 week later, going to be released to the general public when this SpongeBob season ends. Now, the reason I wanted to make this episode here today is not only answer some uncertain questions about Kenji, will he actually be good in this game, test drive him a little bit more now that we're getting closer and closer to the early release offer, because I think it's warranted. I think Kenji is a little bit of a mystery here compared to most other newer brawlers being released. But on top of that, several individuals inside of the community already noticed that Kenji has an early release offer in the shop here, somewhat of a countdown over on the Supercell store. Really interesting. Never seen this before. So you're not able to buy it just yet, right? It only has a notify me button here in 2 days and 12 hours, but at least we have an official countdown as to when he is going to be released here on the Supercell store. And it's kind of just, you know, a good reason to bring up Kenji a little bit more, a better excuse to see a little bit more about this character before his release. So, with the help of the dev build here today, we are going to be playing Kenji in pretty much every single game mode for today's video, just to get a feel for him, a better feel, because I think it's warranted. We're 3 days out of the release at the point that I'm recording this video, and I still think there's a lot of questions to be answered about Kenji here before the early release offer. First test is going to be Brawl Ball. In my opinion, I think Brawl Ball has the best likelihood for Kenji to excel here. He reminds me a lot of Mortis, as you guys know, just not 100% as good as Mortis is with like ball dribbling and stuff like that, right? Now, I have played a few matches with this guy. Let's see, are we lined up? Yep, okay, we can do a ball dribble and kick it in. The mobility is going to be really nice in Brawl Ball, that's for dang sure. But I've played a few matches here. Like, I think I played in a video with Nat for her channel some time ago, or maybe I don't even know if that was published. But one thing that I have noticed about Kenji is the super is kind of unreliable. It's kind of hard to aim, seeing that there's some delay to it. Okay, didn't have that lined up. It's going to be a bit harder to use than Mortis there. But the dribbling, that aspect, it could be good in and of itself. Just not 100% as good as that Mortis dribbling, right? Getting into another game of Brawl Ball before we transition to another game mode to see whether or not he's going to be good in other aspects of the game. The other thing that I've noticed about Kenji, just, you know, willy-nilly playing a little bit here in dev build is, I don't know if it's just me, but it doesn't feel like Kenji has a ton of DPS. I don't know why. I could be wrong about that, but if you really think about it, some of these characters in the game, they just blast damage, but this guy does 1,000 damage with his dash attack and 2,000 damage with his slice. Granted, Kenji has really fast reload speed, and then coupled on top of that, like I was saying before, the super is kind of difficult to land for some reason. So I don't know, man. I feel kind of iffy about Kenji, even though he is really exciting, right? So I feel like when it comes to Showdown and Kenji's relationship with it, it's going to be very comparable to how Mortis plays inside of Showdown, right? I think there's like 2 different types of playstyles you can take in Showdown, or, well, there's quite a few, but some of the more popular ones are being more aggro or more elusive, right? And Kenji does have that mobility, not as good as Mortis is, but still has decent mobility to rip around the map, stay away from danger, position well on the map and whatnot. Also got a little bit of a feeling that he's a bit better at collecting boxes than Mortis would be. The real kicker, the thing that's really helping out Kenji the most, I feel like, with his kit is how fast he reloads. His DPS just is that much better because of it. I mean, if you compare it to Mortis, it is atrocious. I should say Mortis's is really bad, right? You can kind of spam with Kenji and get away with it, which kind of brings up that conversation of, you know, is Kenji just a better Mortis? You know what I'm saying? But let's get into it. In my humble opinion, I think Mortis's super is better, but Kenji's overall playstyle is a bit better. And not to mention the absolute brokenness that his gadgets and star powers have for him. Like, this is stupid. It's literally a Mortis mechanic, but just hit a green button. You know what I'm saying? This could be great for mobility, like in Showdown, to get away from a tricky situation. You literally just turn into Mortis for 3 seconds. This one I don't think is going to be phenomenal or anything like that. Like I said before, Kenji's super is a little bit interesting. It's going to be really tricky to get down. I think it's a pretty dang difficult super here, but this star power is insane. after avoiding damage for 5 seconds, Kenji gets a 90% damage reducing shield for the next enemy attack. This is so overkill, bro. This coupled with the healing gadget, I think is going to be phenomenal, and quite honestly will allow him to get away with game modes like bounty open maps, right? Just being able to tank one Piper shot at 90% damage reduction is nuts. And you get it every 5 seconds, bro. Oh my gosh, here's a demonstration. I believe we took a look at a video much like this over on Ash's Twitter about, I think it was Dyna's hypercharge, but look at this damage with that shield. I mean, come on, a full super on him. Literally does nothing. It tickles him. It's so stupid, but granted, look at how much damage Squeak's hypercharge does. That's wild. So I think he's going to be pretty dang good in Showdown. For all the good reasons that Mortis has, he can have that playstyle, but on top of that, much better at opening up boxes, in my opinion. And let's be honest, his star powers and gadgets are going to carry him as a character, right? It's crazy. Now, let's get to the kicker here, huh? Moving along to Heist, my dudesters. I guess the question is how much is Kenji going to be like Mortis? You know what I'm saying? Is he going to be pretty much so just an upgraded version of Mortis and his playstyle? If so, Kenji should never be played in Heist, much like Mortis. But I guess something like that is just, it's going to take some time to see if that is the case, right? I guess you could kind of get away on certain maps where it'd be important to be having like an aggro on your team to help damper down aggro pressure from the enemy team and stuff like that. But man, I got a feeling there's going to be better picks than Kenji. I got a feeling, you know what I'm saying? In Heist, like, I don't think he's got enough damage output once you get on the Heist safe, which most of the time is important in this game mode, right? But playing around here in Heist a little bit, yeah, let's see if we can even defend here. We got a super getting in there. Okay, beautiful. Not too crazy, not too crazy. One thing I've noticed while just ripping through here, I think I've kind of already have my consensus on Heist, right? If these were real players, they could literally just ignore me. They wouldn't have to deal with me at all. Look at us tank that tick head. Holy man. Also, can you stall for time with your super too? Interesting. Interesting. I think I'm one of the biggest Kenji super haters there is out there. It's really cool, really flashy. But one thing in particular that I've noticed that is like super good for him. Look at that. Just tank 400 damage from a tick head. Have you ever seen anything like that? But from his supers, I've noticed they're pretty dang good at avoiding some damage. The only aspect that I don't love about it is you teleport to where you went. So, and you're kind of susceptible once you get out of your super. So if they remember where I used my super, they can line up a shot and easily take us out, right? It would be so dang cool, and it definitely would be broken if it would allow you to dash to where your super is. It feels kind of unnatural. It feels like you should be dashing up there, you know what I'm saying? But here we go. We're getting the win up against bots, but how fast was this game? Let's just say I don't think Kenji is going to be phenomenal in Heist. Very niche possibilities. I think Kenji could get away with it in this game mode, right? Now, as for bounty, ladies and gentlemen, I got a feeling Kenji is going to be a lot like Mortis in this aspect, where there's certain maps in bounty that you can get away with it, right? These bush heavy maps, but then you have these maps where it's very wide open and you should really only be playing long range characters on. And if you ever think to play Kenji on a map like this, your entire team is going to be swearing your name while you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Unless you play like perfect. But it is funny. It's an interesting conversation to have about his abilities. Like I said before, this shield very well could be his ticket, his answer to be able to get away for gameplay on maps like this. You know what I'm saying? Just being able to have that damage reduction, being able to use your mobility to get in these choke points, these pivotal spots on the map, I think can be pretty dang good, much like it is for Mortis. You know what I'm saying? But you're way more safe than Mortis with that shield. Looking at some of the other ones, man, I'm having a real hard time. But basically the way that I'm seeing Kenji in my mind is just kind of a better version of Mortis, right? So when I look at the game modes, I'm kind of looking at it through that lens, and I think that's one of the major reasons why it's kind of confusing as to how good Kenji is going to be, right? Is he going to be like exactly like Mortis, like just a better version, or is he going to feel like way different? It's really hard to pin it down. So when I take a look at a game mode like Knockout in comparison with a lens like looking at it through Mortis gameplay, most of the time you're not going to want to play a hyper aggro brawler like Mortis in a game mode like Knockout, except for very niche exceptions, right? Most of the time, control-based characters, unless the map calls for it, is pretty important to stay alive, save yourself. But like, come on, let's be honest. Kenji ain't gonna get away with playing on a map like this, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think knockout is gonna be phenomenal for him, and I could be eating my words on that. But then we get to hot zone. I think he is gonna be able to be played in hot zone very, very easily. Like, I mean, let's get into a good example of dueling beetles. I think his gadget is going to shine like the brightest freaking star in the night sky, bro, in a game mode like hot zone, dude. Put on that 4x gear gadget and you are golden here. Not only with the shield that you get every 5 seconds, but you'll be able to retain 75% of your HP lost within a little bit. So Primo lands on us. We're losing a lot of HP. We use our gadget. Oop, didn't really use it that well there. Gadget, I need you, buddy. Okay, let's use... Oh, I dodged the Primo. Okay, so we got a shield here so we can be hyper aggro. This Piper literally has no chance when I have the shield. All right, let's see how much we can sustain here in the middle. Okay. All right, we healed 962. Dude, the gadget is kind of high skill cap, to be completely honest. It's hard to know, or like what window of time the damage is being applied that you can use your gadget, you know what I'm saying? I got a feeling maybe since it's kind of a small window, it's gonna be better for those like maps where, or characters that deal like a crap ton of damage very, very quick. You know, like a Griff, a Colt, one clips ya, use that gadget. This Piper hits us, use our gadget. Oh, we didn't take any damage there. Man, that gadget's kind of hard to use, but I think he's gonna be decent in hot zone. But the healing that we saw here, we failed to mention this even in the first place. If you thought his star power and his gadget were broken, he has a trait that is literally Mortis's like bread and butter, except you don't really have to do anything. This brawler regains health with every attack that damages an enemy. I mean, come on, bro. Tell me that this character isn't Mortis, but better. Like, come on. People are trying to make Mortis obsolete with every single new character being added to this game. My gosh. Kind of a stupid example, but I think you guys caught the gist in that game. Obviously, it was hard to use the gadget because we weren't using the right one, but in a game mode like Hot Zone, being to sustain, getting in there and seeing that Kenji has 3 different elements of sustain with his star power, gadget, and his trait. You could even argue a 4th with his super to get away from damage. Maybe a Piper shoots you, you can use your super to avoid that shot, right? A dodge mechanic. I think he's going to be great in Hot Zone. And then really the only other one that I want to discuss here in this game mode, at least for 3v3s, is of course gem grab. Bro, you could get away with a lot of different brawlers in gem grab. Let's just be completely honest, right? For Mortis, me being a Mortis main, gem grab is my favorite game mode to play him on. It's either gem grab or hot zone to play Mortis. It's just, I enjoy those game modes I think the most. But one thing I've noticed with characters that have a ton of mobility, they're really, really good in game modes like this. Not necessarily to be like a gem carrier or anything like that, but to use that mobility in desperate situations, right? So if your teammate dies with all the gems, you can be there to pick them up. It's usually not amazing to have gems if you're an assassin, but just being available to save your team out of a bad situation, I think is pretty dang important for characters with mobility like this. So I think Kenji has that going for him. But other than that, much like Mortis, why he's good in gem grab, I think it's going to be pretty map specific, right? You need bushes, you need cover, can't be too wide open, you know what I'm saying? But hey, maybe I'm wrong about that, you know? His star power seems like he can kind of get him out of some sticky situations, you know? All right, we got a dare all the way in the heck up here with 3 gems. Mr. Bot, what the frick are you doing, dog? Okay, not bad. We got a dash. And if we had... Ooh, let's go like this. Yeah, okay. That gadget's pretty dang good if you ask me. You can sustain it while you're waiting for your shield to come back, right? 960. Once you get your shield, you get it back up. Yeah, dude, he's busted. All right, we won. You guys get it. So I think we got a pretty decent idea on most of the game modes here in the game. We didn't check out duels or anything like that. But man, you know, maybe Kairos ranking Kenji in the B tier was just more of a safer pick. Seeing that he's not released yet, you know, it'd be kind of hard to jump to conclusions and put him in like an S tier and an A tier because he's just not here, right? It's hard to rank. But man, I am nervous, and my gut feeling, and I tend to trust my gut, I think Kenji is going to be pretty dang good. When you look at just his kit, his base kit, right? It doesn't seem phenomenal. It's just worrisome. But then when you look at him in like the whole package of his character with the gadgets, the star powers, his trait, it just gets kind of wacky when you pile up all these abilities on top of each other, right? He is quite honestly, and it's almost offensive, Mortis, but better. You know what I'm saying? When they designed this character, why'd they have to give him like life steal and all that stuff? It's literally Mortis, but better. But yeah, man, I'm just one guy. It's hard to completely say, but I want to at at least get maybe a little bit more info out there for you guys before his early release offer, which then we'll be able to get a lot of info about Kenji here. But yeah, let me know what you guys have to say, at least from what we kind of saw here in this episode, what you guys been seeing in the community about Kenji. Do you think he's going to be good? It's still hard to say, but I think he's going to be decent. Maybe A tier. I'll go A. Maybe not S. I'll go A right now. Might be wrong about that, but who cares? At least we're kind of getting more info about him. But yeah, man, hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Hopefully you guys are excited about Kenji. I know I sure am. I've never made a video like this for a new brawler coming out. I don't think I have. So you guys can tell, very much so looking forward to Kenji. But yeah, we'll be talking to you guys super soon. Thank you guys for sticking around, hanging out with your boy. And yeah, we'll see you later. Adios. Take care.